Good morning, world, and welcome to GNN Global News Nightly. Tonight we will talk about 4 regions: South Asia, Western Europe, East Asia, and the Americas. Before we go into South Asia, I'd like to talk about a book I've been reading. It's called the Tripitaka, and it's the religious book of Buddhism. It's very interesting, and I definitely recommend it for all you watchers out there. Now let's go to Sarah with South Asia.
Thanks, Olivia. I'm here all the way in Southeast Asia, in the great nation of India. One of the great things about India is that 2 of the world's major religions were born here. I'm here with my good friend, Siddhartha Gautama, to talk about his religion, Buddhism. Hey Sid, how are you?
Ami tuopo.
Bless you. What can you tell us about the foundation of your religion?
I was really unsatisfied with my life and the suffering that being born brought, so I meditated under a tree for literally 7 weeks, and I was enlightened.
Enlightened in what way?
Basically, all life is based on suffering, and the only way to overcome that suffering is to follow the Eightfold Path and let go of all worldly possessions.
That is amazing. What inspired you to seek spiritual enlightenment?
Well, most people in India, like myself, followed Hinduism. In Hinduism, there was a caste system in which everyone was ranked. The system determined jobs, social importance, and marriage. There was no way to change your caste in any given lifetime, and you were expected to be a good member of your caste or have good dharma if you wanted to be rewarded in your next life.
Interesting. Did Buddhism catch on quickly, or were people loyal to their religion?
It caught on very quickly in the lower classes because Buddhism did not support the caste system. It also gave them a sense of importance. After I died, my religion lived on. It eventually spread all the way to China and even to parts of Western civilizations.
Congratulations. Thank you for joining us.
Amu tuopo.
Okay. Make sure you get the map. Hey guys, sorry, there's not a lot of air down here. I'm literally in the Strait of Malacca. I am in the Strait of Malacca, right here on the border of modern day Malaysia and Indonesia, connecting the Indian Ocean to the South China Sea. The Strait of Malacca was very important for the Islamic city-state Malacca because of its economic benefits. The strait's major benefit was its location. Many navy and trade ships passed through the strait in order to reach Indian and Chinese ports. Malacca became extremely wealthy due to the fees they put on passing ships. Those fees were the main source of the city-state's income. The sultanate in which the strait was located thrived until around 1511 AD, when the Portuguese invaded the city along the Strait of Malacca. By conquering the city, they were able to control the trade between Europe, China, and India. While all of this was going on, Islam was rising and quickly becoming the dominant religion in parts of South Asia. One area where Islam became very popular very quickly was modern-day Indonesia. Many people in the conversion areas were comfortable converting to Islam because they were still allowed to follow their local rules and deities. Islam was primarily spread through merchants and Sufis who advocated and taught about the religion to many South Asian areas.
Thank you, Sarah. Now, let's go to Ira with Western Europe.
Western Europe is an exciting nation as of now. Currently, Europeans are trading along the sub-Saharan trade route with the Muslims. Some items imported from the Muslims were spices, silver, and textiles. Charles Martel is the current ruler of the dynasty and leads the Franks. He recently came back from the Battle of Tours against the Muslims to stop them from spreading. He is here today to talk about his wars and his ruling. Hello, Charles. How are you?
Howdy, partner. I'm doing just fine.
So, tell me about some of your accomplishments.
Well, I drove those damned Arabs straight out of Tours. That was the end of their moving into Europe.
Wow, what else did you accomplish as a ruler?
Well, those heckin' Saxons didn't want to get along with the other groups, none. So I made them cooperate and united the Frankish Empire.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Of course.
Why do they call you Charles the Hammer?
'Cause of my smash and victory course.
Thanks, Ira. Let's go to Rebecca with East Asia.
The East Asian world has been in a state of anarchy, ruin, and downfall for nearly 400 years. This all came to an end with the unification of the Sui dynasty under the Emperor Sui Yangdi. One of the Sui dynasty's grandest and most praised accomplishments being the creation of the 1,104-mile canal called the Grand Canal. Thanks to the creation of the Grand Canal, the city of Hangzhou has expanded immensely in trade. Sadly, it was short-lived and ended only after 40 years of rule. but this led way for the Tang Dynasty. The Tang Dynasty increased the empire drastically, including a tributary system to maintain China's wealth. In order to end one of China's most daunting problems, aristocrats' growing power, they created an equal field system that ensured that all Chinese families had the land to cultivate.
Thanks, Rebecca. Now it's time for me to talk about the Americas. The Mississippian Empire, located in what is now eastern United States, was the largest civilization in North America from 700 to 1500 CE. Its capital was Cahokia, which was a massive trade city. The Mississippian economy was primarily based on agriculture and trade. They built an expansive trade network that stretched from the Rocky Mountains to the Gulf of Mexico. Things like bear teeth were imported from the Rocky Mountains, and turtle shells were imported from the Gulf of Mexico. Because of the empire's location along the Mississippi River, they had easy access to rich soil and river valleys that helped them grow on lots of corn, beans, squash, and tobacco.
Hey there, I'm Abby Cummins. This is Crash Course World History. Today I'm going to be talking about the comparisons of East Asia and the Americas. The Americas and East Asia both had tributary systems. In the Americas, they forced their conquered people to pay tribute, while in East Asia, people paid tribute in honor of the emperor. The differences between them is that in East Asia, they practiced Hinduism, Confucianism, and Taoism. In the Americas, they practiced a polytheistic and animistic religion, which often included animal and human sacrifice. The Americans worshipped a sun god and their ancestors.
We'll be right back after a quick message from our sponsors.
You tired of your kids complaining about bland food? Do you just sometimes want to let them starve? Do you feel like you've already tried everything and they still don't eat their dinner? Do you want to spice up your dinner life? Try spices from South Asia. Spices include cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, pepper, and turmeric.
I wish I could print things easier.
And boom! The all-new printing press! Woo!
Let's return to Sarah in South Asia.
Along with Buddhism and Hinduism, another religion was introduced to South Asia, the religion of Islam. Islam came all the way from the Arabian Peninsula. People known as Sufis began converting hundreds of thousands of people to Islam. Although Islamic religion forced its way into India, it also came peacefully. Most people converted to Islam voluntarily due to its religious appeal. Religion wasn't the only important part of South Asian culture during this time period. Trade was a key component of the Indian economy. Indian merchants acquired goods such as gold, silver, textiles, and metals in exchange for the many spices India had to offer. A majority of its trading occurred along the Silk Roads. Although trade and religion are important, many may argue that South Asia's most important contribution is their number system. During their Golden Age, they developed a system of 10 numerals and a decimal system. Those numerals were eventually spread to Europe through the writings of mathematicians. This number system is still used by us today and made the writing process much easier.
Hey there, welcome back to another Crash Course World History. Today we're going to be talking about the comparisons between Western Europe and South Asia. Both Western Europe and South Asia were not unified due to religion. South Asia was not unified because the people practiced Hinduism and Buddhism. In Western Europe, the people practiced Christianity, but two different forms, Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox. Western Europe had roads as a form of transportation, while in South Asia only had the Silk Roads, which was a trade route.
Back to Ira in West Europe.
We are now in the 800s and a lot has changed. Feudalism is now more developed in Western Europe. Although the Europeans are still feudalistic, their government has become more democratic with the Magna Carta and the English Parliament. The Magna Carta enforced the king to observe rights, while the English Parliament increased the rights of English nobility.
Ma'am, the great skins have arrived.
In Rome, the church is now split into two. On the west side of the Roman Empire, the people are Roman Catholic, while on the east side, the people are Eastern Orthodox. While these two areas are separated by religion, they both are still Christian, just like the 700s. The Crusades are beginning now between the Christians and the Muslims over the Holy Land of Jerusalem.
Now back to Rebecca in East Asia.
We last visited China, it was in the Tang Dynasty. Unfortunately, the Tang fell to a devastating rebellion. Now, on a nicer note, the fall of the Tang Dynasty led way to the prosperous dynasty called the Song Dynasty. The Song Dynasty has been getting threats from the nomads, and that led to their decision to move the capital from Chang'an to Kaifei. Sadly, the threats still continue, and Song Dynasty is planning to move the capital to Hangzhou. Hangzhou is a large city, home to about 1 million people, but Chang'an still beats it with a population of 2 million. However, Hangzhou is the capital of China, making it a wonderful location to relocate. Oh my god. The center of culture in China, making a wonderful location to relocate the capital. A new social class, the scholarly gentry, people that study the teaching of Confucianism and Chinese classics, was created and assigned military power. The Song Dynasty used paper money, which created a credit system called flying cash. Additionally, they created a magnetic compass and woodblock printing. The Song Dynasty expanded heavily in bureaucracy, but this could very well be what leads to their downfall. I am here with Prince Shotoku Daishi from Yamato region.
Thank you, Rebecca. It is an honor to be here today.
Would you like to talk about the changes that have happened in Japan recently?
I wrote a new constitution that made Japan a centralized government and argued for a merit-based system for selecting bureaucrats. I have hired Chinese laborers to share knowledge and send some nobles from Japan to study Chinese culture. I've also started promoting Buddhism and Confucianism.
Would you like to enlighten us as to why you're making all these reforms?
I am worried that China, gaining so much influence and power, they might attempt to conquer Japan, so I want to please them in initiating their grand empire.
Oh wow, look at the time. I think it's time to move on to the next interview. Ira?
Back to me in the Americas. Mesoamerica had 3 major empires from 400 BC to 1572 CE, which were the Mayans, Aztecs, and Incans. The 3 empires, while located so near to each other, developed very differently. For example, the Aztecs had an extensive trade network, while the Incans were limited in their trading opportunities due to their location in the Andes Mountains. They also differed in the way that they chose to benefit from the lands they conquered. The Mayans and Aztecs used the tribute system, which periodically required conquered civilizations to pay them a fee, while the Incans used the Maida system, which required physical labor from conquered civilians. Despite these differences, they did share some similarities. All 3 were polytheistic, had some sort of king at the head of the government, and all 3 heavily farmed maize. Thanks, me. Building on that, one major continued theme throughout the Americas was the strong presence of religion. All the American religions were polytheistic, with some sort of emphasis on the sun or sun god worship. Despite these similarities, all the American religions did not choose to worship the same way. For example, the Aztecs were one of the few religions that was really big on human sacrifice. We have some footage on how we think it might have gone down.
Sir Etsy, will you please start the ritual?
Hum ni na ni num, hum ni na ni num, hum ni na ni num, hum.
I will now wear the skin as my skin, and I will cherish the heart. You are loved, couscous.
That's all we have for tonight. Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in tomorrow night for more world news from Global News Nightly.
The
Where the flip is my Chromebook?
No one knows. I meant deities. Deities.
Hey, and they make you feel real nice, hey. Hey, yeah, I got some paprika. Hey, it'll make your life feel sweeter. Hey, if you want some spices, hey, go down to India. Hey, it'll make you feel real nice if you get some spice up in your life. Now, wiki